The good news is you can do this. And I'm going to encourage you, whatever you've been through, my prayers are with you. My thoughts are with you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rola, clinical psychologist, and today I want to do this video about the difference between not picking your battles and picking your battles. A few weeks ago in session with one of my patients, this patient was frustrated and said to me, everyone keeps telling me to pick my battles, to choose my battles, but they don't tell me how to go about doing that. And that led us to begin to talk about what choosing one's battle could look like and how that can be practiced. My patient gave me some really positive feedback about how this discussion helped. And I thought, why don't I talk to you about how to pick your battles, and if you're not picking your battles, what the differences are. And that's why I'm doing this comparison. So let's get into it. The first difference between the person who is not picking their battles versus picking their battles is that the person who is not picking their battles shows extreme reaction. They tend to underreact, which is they will overlook things that are serious that they need to address. They can come across passive and calm, or they overreact. They give too much attention to an issue that they could overlook or should be paying little attention to. So we see that the person who is not picking their battle is more likely to be passive on one end of the emotional spectrum or highly frustrated on the other end of the emotional spectrum. But the person who is picking their battle tends to be much more in the middle because they're given the situation that they're confronted with, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a pressure, they're giving it the attention that it needs. And there's a thought process that is going into how they're reacting to that situation. The person who is not picking their battles tends to be more erratic, not planned out, and the person who is picking their battle tends to be more well thought through in how they express emotions because of the thought process. The second difference is that the person who is not picking their battle does not assess their inner resources. Can I truly ignore this? They're not asking those questions. Do I have time or energy for this problem? If I don't pay attention to this problem now, what could it become? It would exhaust me. It would cause problems for me down the road. Or if I overreact in this situation and I lose my job, or I lose my standing in this community, how will this affect me? The person who is not picking their battles does not assess their inner resources. What do I have? What am I going to gain by doing this? And what am I going to lose by doing this? They don't ask that question. They don't assess it. They tend to react more from what is going on out there rather than what is going on within them. The person who is picking their battles is making sure that they're assessing their resources. If it's a good time to react to this, if I react to this way, what could happen to me? So they're assessing it. And they're being careful so that they're not fighting battles and losing other things that they worked hard for. The person that is not picking their battle is not assessing their inner resources. And the person that is picking their battle is doing that. The third difference is that the person that is not picking their battles tends to minimize or disregard their value system. Maybe the person has a value of wanting to have a home life that is healthy. The person that is not picking their battles may disregard abuse, minimize it, because that's my family, even though it's a value for them to have a family life that is safe. They may disregard things that are important to their well-being, their value system, just to keep the peace, or be so invested in fighting a battle to a point where they go against their values. They don't pay enough attention to their values. They minimize it or disregard it by not picking their battles. But the person who is picking their battles is focused on their values. And they will fight for those values to be respected because they understand how this is important to them, their well-being, and to the well-being of their family. And that is important that they fight for it. So they will not keep quiet. They will not disregard it. They will give it measured attention because that is their value. They will not give it up just to keep the peace, or they will not give it up just for anybody who wants to get them mad. If it's, for example, a value for the person that is picking their battles to maintain employment, they will not get into a big fight with somebody at work to lose their job and then end up not being able to provide for their family. They will give it measured attention even if they're looking for a job, and look for a job before, instead of fighting that battle at that time. The person not picking the battles does not pay enough attention to their value system, and the person who is picking their values pays attention to their value system, and they don't give it up even though there is pressure. Another difference is that the person that is not picking their battles tends to disregard the relationship, the closeness of the relationships that they have with the person that they're dealing with. The person that is not picking their values may minimize something very dangerous that a family member is doing or a close friend is doing because that's family or that's my friend. Minimizing that will cost them, but they're saying their family, I just got to let it go. When the reality is that that relationship they have with that person is so close that what that person is doing is going to affect them. So they're passive, they will ignore it. Or they will come across somebody who doesn't really have a really close relationship with them and put so much energy, or somebody they haven't known for a long time, and put so much energy into winning any fight or disagreement with them, even though that person's action is not really as impactful. One of the important areas you have to think about when you're picking your battles is how close is this person to me, and in what ways do their actions or their behavior impact me. The person who is not picking their battles tends to minimize the importance of how that relationship affects them, both in the short and the long term. And the person who is picking up their battles is really being careful to make sure that they're just not maintaining the peace for the sake of it, but they're making sure that the foundation of their relationships are really well connected. And that people that are not really close to them, or people they meet at work and they spend a few hours with, should not be the kind of people that they waste too much time or attention with, to where they lose focus as to why they're doing what they're doing in the moment. I hope those examples help you to understand that the person not picking their battles minimizes their proximity in relationships, and the person picking their values really understands that we need to take care of those relationships, and my action affects the person who I'm connected with, and their action affects me too. So they're paying attention to those relationships. The last one, the person who does not pick their battles has a false sense of urgency about the need to react. They tend not to prioritize their energy and their attention level to matters. Something happens, they react. It almost feels like they're being driven externally rather than being driven internally. That person could be passive just to keep the peace, or like I said, could be aggressive, but they have this false sense of urgency, whether to not do something or to do something. But the person who is picking their battles and choosing their battles prioritizes how they're going to react. And they say something like, this one demands my attention now. This other one, maybe less. I'll handle this next time. They can compartmentalize better for those who pick their battles. They can put it in boxes. They can let things wait. The person who does not pick their battles tends to just be disorganized in terms of how they prioritize their time, their energy, and their response to situations. So I hope that you are able to begin to look at the factors that I've talked to you about today and begin to ask yourself, am I choosing my battles or not? How well am I doing in terms of choosing my battles, or in not choosing my, or how badly am I doing in this area? Understanding that the energy, the attention, the time that you give to situations, to relationships, to people, to stressors has everything to do with your emotional health, with your emotional well-being, to how you manage depression, anxiety, and really helps you to begin to think through in a much more healthy and balanced way about how you're going to make sure that you are the captain of a ship of your life in a healthy way. And that you're not just being driven by everything going on out there, but you're taking in what's going on out there and you're allowing your thought processes to be healthy so that you're making the right decisions. So I want you to share this video with as many people as possible. Leave your comments, your suggestions as to how you have learned to pick your battles, or some of the challenges that you faced in picking your battles. I want to reassure you that every one of us could do better in this area, so don't feel bad if you're struggling. We can all do better. What matters is that we take these factors and we put them in the context of the challenges that we face, and we begin to make decisions. And as we make those decisions, it may not feel as good in the moment, but over time, we will see the benefits of choosing our battles wisely. Please subscribe, press that notification bell. Also join me on social media at Ask Dr. Rola, AskDrRola, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching.